All right, so so this is day 2, Project Jeep. Okay, I'm gonna start all over again. So we're day 2 of Project Sheep Jeep. Sure, Sheep Jeep, whatever. Um, I've got a bunch of stuff out here. The day's kind of nice. It's still drying out, so I can't finish cleaning pens. But we need to get some of this crap all cleaned off, and we need to take. So that camera ran out of memory. I guess I shouldn't have downloaded a game to play on my phone. But what I was saying here is I had to get the throttle body off, which I did get off. I found something that looked like there's a critter trying to nest in this. So this is going to be fun to clean because we got to make sure we get everything out of there. There was behind the throttle body there was one of these little wiring grommets and some grain sitting back there. So I'm going to really have to clean this out good because the air comes in through here and then it gets distributed to each cylinder via these intake runners. So as you can see, they're quite the intricate little design across here. I've cleaned up some of this other stuff here with, I gotta put a cap on this. I've cleaned up some of these other exhaust manifold parts with just brake clean. You can sort it, no you can't see. I'm not gonna break into those because these exhaust manifolds here, you paint them, they're just gonna rust out again. So I'm just gonna make sure the mating surfaces are wire wheeled off so we get a good adhesion. These, there's no point in really cleaning these up. I did spray these off with brake clean and give them a wipe down. You're not going to get that gunk off. That's just a bit of dirt from the mud spraying up and then cooking on. So it's going to happen again. This is a Jeep after all. We do, even though it's one of the luxury, it's a discount luxury Jeep, if that makes sense. I still use it as a Jeep. It'll get done doing Jeep things. So this here, just an EGR tube, so I just sprayed that out with some brake clean and make sure it run good and cleaned the end off a little bit. And then I got the sensors done with carb cleaner too, so they're cleaned up. I got the pressure washer out and I'm doing the timing cover, both valve covers. You can see one there. I figured out my color combo for this Jeep, which is one of the most important things when you're putting an engine together, is to make sure you know the color you're painting your engine. But this never came with a fan. That's called a mechanical fan or a fluid fan or a fluid clutch fan or a clutch fan. But this style of Jeep here, it's an option on it. Normally it has, I think, 2 electric fans that run. I'm just trying to remember. It has an electric fan anyway. The only Jeep that came with that model Jeep, the only way you could get a mechanical clutch fan added to your electric cooling package was if you had a tow package. Our Jeep was a base model, didn't come with that. So this fan here is off of a 4.7 Dakota. The 4.7 and the 3.7 share almost everything for your accessory drives, so the clutch fan will work. Same with the timing cover if you really need one. So this Jeep here being a base model, like speaking of the clutch fan, this Jeep here being the base model, doesn't come with the clutch fan. It's just for driving, playing maybe a little bit. It didn't come with skid plates. It didn't come with a clutch fan. It didn't come with trailer wiring. It didn't come with a trailer hitch. It didn't come with the tinted windows. I think some of the other accessories for inside, like on your dash, it doesn't come with the multi-sensor wheel sensors for the telling each individual air pressure on your tires. This one just tells you if you've got low air pressure, and then you've got to figure out which tire it is. So we're adding a bunch of that stuff. The only thing I'm going to have trouble finding, I think, is going to be the tow wiring. There's an overlay you can buy. I'm not sure if you can still get it. But I'm getting off topic here. So I've cleaned up the valve covers. Well, there's one valve cover there. And the other one's getting a plastic green paint on it. I'm going to put all the black plastic, so the intake and the valve covers. So that intake there, and then the 2 valve covers, we're going to put them in green. We're going to leave the aluminum to shine through, and then we'll paint the engine block just black. So that's my color combo for the Jeep. Woo! Anyways, so I'm going to just hook up the pressure washer here, and I'm going to clean this up as best I can. We're not going to go super fancy. This thing's going to get dirty again. Sort of this discoloration here, we're not going to worry about pulling all that off. I mean, look at how shiny that is versus that. We're not going to make it all this shiny. We're just getting it clean. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm gonna get that going, and then let's see if we can show this here. So, yeah, just a green. I'm not gonna touch that. That's the color green. All the black plastic on the top of the motor is gonna get done that. I think I figured out where all the fasteners are supposed to go. And yeah, that's what's going on today. It's just cleaning parts, so not much to say. That intake is gonna be a nightmare. I think I'm gonna have to take that intake. I'll pressure wash it out here and set my so for cleaning the motors or cleaning almost anything, what I do is I buy the bulk spray 9, and then from Princess Auto I pick up a little pressure sprayer, and you just, you know, and then spray that on everything, and that's my preferred way to do it. It's a lot cheaper to use that than it is to buy 100 cans of brake clean. The brake clean does have its spot though for some of the smaller things. I like to use it for that, but just for this big stuff here, spray 9 works just fine. So I'm going to give that another coat. I'm going to go downstairs and turn on the outside water so I can spray these off, and then maybe we'll see in the basement when we're ready to start putting the next bits together. Oh, I forgot the engine mounts too. I should go get those. All right, so when it comes to these exhaust manifolds, all we want to do is pull the old gasket off, basically just like that. There's really no point in cleaning this out unless there's a bunch of chip on the inside, and really, yeah, that's got nothing. These are fairly clean. This motor was This motor was burning very clean actually, and it was actually in really good shape. Redoing this, oh, the EGR might need a little bit of work. Oh no, that's fine. Oh, looks all right. There's an EGR port, exhaust gas, whatever. So we'll just peel this all up here, get this off. We got new exhaust manu gaskets, so we're not going to worry about it. And garbage. Then we'll just take the wire wheel, we'll do these surfaces. I will just check this little port here because this one could get pretty gunked up if we're not careful. Oh, that one could be. This one looks like it might need to be done. No, it looks actually okay, I think. Well, I'll just double check this one. No, it looks actually pretty good. We'll hit it up. Pretty there, that's clean. We'll do that to all of these, and then I'll hit this outside here, and then I might also tap the tops of these bolts. Shut up. I'll just do the tops of the bolts and the back side of these flanges, just to give, when we put the fasteners and they clamp down, they're not clamping down onto rust. Good enough for what I'm doing. Hey. Oh, that looks good. Oh shit, I forgot that. Oh god. Might grab a file. Come here. The casting on these, I might grab a file and clean this up. This one looks okay, but just I can feel there's a lip here, and this is not a performance motor by any means, but that there, this one wasn't even that bad. This one was good, except for a little bit there. But this one was cast bad, so as your exhaust is trying to flow out, it's going to catch that lip and cause a bit of cavitation. I mean, we got it apart. I might as well just do it quick here. That's literally all it took. So that's all it took to do that. Getting a bit of a hot spot. Good enough. Check this one out too and see. Good. That's better than it was. Should flow a little bit better, like less than 1%, but still. I'm gonna take all this stuff now downstairs. It's ready to go. Okay, that thing took a shit ton of water, didn't it? So this stuff here, oh look at that's actually not too terribly bad. Hey, you see this is kind of a little bit darker than over here, but as long as it's clean-ish, it's going on like that. We're not going too crazy on this thing. Like I said, this is a daily driver, and I don't want to mess with the aluminum too much without having, so I don't want to do too much to the aluminum. I just want to make sure it goes on cleaned off of any oil. So I'm going to start moving parts into the basement that are finished here, and then maybe we'll come out and get the next valve cover going, and then we've got to spray that other thing out. So there's your before and after the valve covers. These just pull right out really easy. I took a picture of where these were located before we pulled them out because we had two different styles. You can sort of see how they set up there, but this one here had a little bit of heat right here for some reason. I'm gonna have to find out what was over that spot and maybe put an insulation over whatever pipe or something went there. So, but hey, I think I like it. It'll look good when it's done. It ain't perfect by any means. Yeah, I could use a little bit more right there, but it ain't perfect by any means. But for what we're building, it looks pretty good. A little bit of touch of class. So I will wipe this down with an acetone and pull all these out, mark where they go, scrape the sticker off, clean it up really nice inside and out, just so that you see something else rub right there, just because we don't want any contaminants here to get into the oil when we first start it up. So this has got to be cleaned as well. This one's been done already. This one just needs a touch of paint on this end here, it looks like, or not. We're just going to touch it up, whatever. And we'll get that finished up there. So, all right, step one, take a picture of what's going on here. Done. Step two, pull them out. I wish I had a container. I don't. I do not. I have probably a yogurt container downstairs. I could throw these in, but we're not going to worry about it. Okay, that sticker there should come off with some of this acetone. I'm a big fan of acetone. I use it for cleaning parts. I use it for diluting spray paint. So I have it all the time. Hit this decal up a little bit, and that takes all the stuff off of it. There we go. There we go. this open so I can use it. Okay. Acetone is really aggressive on these blue rags. Well, this rag's almost toast. I'm gonna go get a sock. These things aren't lasting. Oh, my leg. Oh. Okay, so the best part about a wool sock, old wool sock, they don't leave this crap behind. So, and wool is really nice because it actually scuffs up a little bit too. Got a bit of a, it's way nicer to use. I don't know why I didn't just go grab one of these to start with. There, ready for paint. Alright, so I'm just using this whatever bonds to plastic paint. I'm just going to give this a touch up quick here. Shake it up good. Make sure these are hot, like a little bit warm before you start applying the paint. So these been sitting in the sun, they're warm. Okay, so while that paint is drying, I got the exhaust manifold bolts right here. I'm just going to take them to the bench grinder right there, and I'm going to clean them up real quick here before they go together. So these aren't going to go on permanent right now, but I just want them cleaned up so that when we do bring the engine out to take it apart, I don't have as many steps to do, because I don't think we're going to be blessed with this kind of weather for very long. I'm going to clean those up off camera here, and then be downstairs to start putting the exhaust manifolds on for their like test fit until we bring the motor outside. Alright, so I hope this makes sense why I'm doing this sort of this way. I should have painted the block probably before I started assembly, but whatever. For whatever reason I didn't, so I'm just going to do it this way here. And then that way we know it's all together, because I still want to cover that block with a bit of paint just to give it a bit more protection when it goes back in the Jeep. You could just throw everything together and be done with it, but those extra steps make it worth a little bit more. And I'd like to keep this thing around for another 20 years or so, because I'll rebuild the other transmission later so that we have a spare transmission, because I have a feeling the transmission is going to go again on this. This is what we're doing right now. Clean these up. I'm getting distracted. Back to work. Okay, so this is why. Look at how clean that is. I don't know if that shows how shiny that is now, but these should thread in here. So nice. So that's why we do it. Make sure these thread in very nice. The other thing I just did, because it's been a while since I've worked on this, is I went and I took a look with a light inside all the exhaust ports here. Make sure nothing's decided to live in there. I looked in all the spark plug holes to make sure nothing's in there as well. I've also looked down. There was another hole here. All the intake ports up here, the runners, and checked to make sure nothing had moved in there. So I think we're pretty safe here. We're going to be using a bit of a different gasket than what originally came on this with the double steel. This is just, I mean, it is what it is. This is the only engine rebuild kit I could find for this, with all the gaskets and seals and such. We have our EGR port here that goes up to this valve here. So that's what that's all for. Exhaust gas recirculation, which is easy to find the gasket because it has that there. So, come on, you son of a, there we go. Sometimes I got to remember how to do this as well. So I'm going to use this on here now. These are not getting torqued down because I still want to paint everything here down. So that's kind of what we're working with there. I do, you know what I mean? So if we recall correctly, these outer bolts here had these long studs. So the other thing is you check check these for level across here. Make sure that this surface is even all the way across. So you put a straight edge on here across. Make sure those are level because they can warp from heat, and that can screw your day up as well. So anyways, we're just putting this all on to make sure we got all the parts because yesterday talking to Carrie, she came up with a brilliant idea here. Because we have a farm, I can actually farm fleet insure multiple vehicles under one insurance plate, one license plate. So what we're going to do, because the van is the farmer's market van with all the freezers and stuff for selling lamb, and it does deliver some sheep. I mean, you've seen us deliver sheep, right? What we're going to do is, you got to be kidding me, I got to loosen some of these off. We're going to insure the truck and the van under the same plate, and then we're going to insure the Jeep as a daily driver. So when you farm fleet something, insure it, you have to make sure you have a daily driver. Otherwise, they'll automatically be like, hey, you're going to drive this all the time. So if we farm fleet the truck, so when it works when you farm fleet insure something is you insure the heaviest vehicle, which at this point it'll be the truck. I don't have the 5-ton on the road yet. But when the 5-ton's on the road, the 5-ton would be the one that gets insured. And then my Dodge would be under that, and then the other Dodge would be under that, and then the other Dodge would be under that, Ford would be under that, and then the van will be under that too. So what it does is it lets you have one plate. All the other vehicles are classified under it. It sucks if you're driving a lighter vehicle all the time because it's insured for the heaviest one, so you kind of, not such a good idea to do that. If you're going to be driving a light vehicle all the time, insure the lighter one because a heavier vehicle, the more the insurance is. So, you got to be kidding me. You don't want to go on there. These little nuts here, I couldn't exactly get them onto the thing to do them, so to clean them out, so the threads might be a little. I could chuck these up into my vise and then thread tap them, but hey, this is working. Oh, that one went on okay. So yeah, we're going to farm fleet the van and the truck, so that way I can use a van for the farmers markets, or Carrie can use a van for the farmers markets, and then the truck and the van hardly ever drive at the same time. There, that's really loose, but we've got an exhaust manifold, so that's not bad. Not bad at all. I'm pretty happy. So I'm going to get the other side done, and I'll see you whenever we're on the next, whatever I'm doing next, because I don't know what I'm doing next. Oy. So I just came up from doing that exhaust manifolds there. Give this their next coat. It looks pretty good, I think. I got to go in and figure out what the next part is. I think I got to go try and clean out this intake manifold. Okay, so I've gotten these sensors were all cleaned up with some carb cleaner. These ones are blind sensors. I don't know if I went over that. Maybe I did and it got lost. But they just pick up on a magnet there, so you're not too concerned about carb cleaner or brake clean on them, except for in your electrical connections. Brake cleaned out the flywheel, dipstick tube. These look like they're not too filthy inside, so these go onto the intake, and same with this. It also goes onto the intake, so those need to be done later. But this stuff here, I can get this all set up, so I'll get that done. So we got the cam position sensor on this side. There's a camshaft. I don't know if I went over this. Overhead cam. There's your valves down below, and your cam goes over top. Overhead cam. Most conventional, like your Chevy 350, Cummins motors, they got a cam that would be right in the middle here, right about where that is. That's a balance shaft. I think that's a balance shaft. There'd be a cam here, and then there's a push rod that would come up, and then that would force your rockers down, which would be these things here. They all have rockers, and that would force your valves open and closed. So instead of doing that, they put a timing chain up here and put your cam up here, which is 2 cams now, so double the cost. And then your valves are here, so overhead cam, whatever. I guess since I talked about that crank position, or cam position sensor, which is right there, and it reads this reading here, which basically can tell both sensors based on the computer. It spaces itself out. There's no adjustments on it. This is the crank position sensor, so there's a tone ring on the crank. This and this work together to determine if these chains have skipped a tooth or not. So if that happens, you'll start getting like codes and stuff. That's why if you get a crank position sensor or cam position sensor code, really should get that checked out as quickly as possible, because the next thing that could happen would be some catastrophic damage, because the worst case is this and this are out of time. When the piston comes up and that valve is open, because the piston is controlled by your crank and your valves are controlled by your camshaft. So basically, if this is pushing your piston up and this has one of your valves open, your piston will crash into that and totally destroy your entire motor. So if either one of those two sensors start going off, stop, get it checked out. Don't risk it, because sometimes this can jump a tooth here. So you can see here we've got time here. So this is your timing chain mark here. This is supposed to be timed to this. So when your right bank is timed to here, your left bank needs to be timed to here. So then those two valve sets are in time. And then once that's there, this needs to be right between there. And then if you look under here, that one needs to be there. And then that will time everything together. If one of those pops off of their chain, one of those three chains, one of them skips a tooth, this motor could get screwed right up and destroyed. So very important to have that all timed correctly. So next thing I'm going to put on, just to start making sure we use up fasteners, so these holes have to be lined up in a particular way. Well, I found the bolts for the flywheel, and they're in this oily container which says crankshaft. So obviously this is a crank bolt. This is a front crank bolt. Ew. And then these are the ones for the back. So I labeled it for this side. And then this one that's already in here. So this needs to go out and get cleaned up before I can even put these on. So I'm going to take those outside and clean them up. But first I'm going to get the dipstick tube mounted, I think. Dipstick tube just plugs into here. Very different design than most motors, where it goes around the side into the oil pan, but very cool. This needs to attach to the intake manifold, but just this little 10 mil bolt here, I just pushed that in, sealed it up. I'll pull that out later. I'm just gonna go get the dipstick thing, and then I do still have to pull the oil pan off too. Right, I forgot about that. When am I going to do that? Because I have to prime this still. Oh well, don't worry about it. So, I can't worry about the future right now. Let's just keep putting this together. This is just, because this was so long to do, like we're going on 2 years now. What I'm doing right now is not really the proper way to be assembling a motor. You should be putting it together for the last time, the first time, if that makes sense. I just can't remember where a lot of these fasteners go, so this is a lot of test fitting and making sure the fasteners are all here and that I still have all the parts so that I know if I have to buy something. So this is kind of not the right way to do this, but this is the way we're doing it just because of the situation we're in right now. So this is basically just a giant puzzle right now. I know how it goes together, but there's a lot of screws and bolts and fasteners that are kind of all over the place, and then some stuff that's been sitting, so we got to make sure it's clean, because you never know what rats have been into it, or mice, I guess. So we know the top end doesn't have any mice, but I got to pull the oil pan and double check there's no misses in there. So alright, so this is nice and dry. This is the first one I painted. It's ready to go on. I'm going to reference my picture, and we're just going to pop these back in. So I'm sitting here like this. I'm not going to show you, I'll show you the finished product, but we'll see how these just pop in. Clean hands when you're handling the fresh, well, not really fresh paint, but you know, it just pops right in just like that. So that's that one ready to go. Oh, something's supposed to go there. Oh, I know it goes there, I think. So, what the heck is that? That looks like that's another sensor. So, oh, I know what that is. So I just want to see what this looks like here. So I'm just impatient. Oh, that looks not bad at all. Hey, I like the looks of that. This is going to be covered up too by a bunch of wires and junk. I mean, there's nothing we can do about that. But, hey, that looks alright. that came out really good, I think. So, I mean, this is going to be always that color, but there's wires that go over and across and around. You'll barely see it. You'll mostly see the green one in the middle. So, and then that big chunk of aluminum goes on the front. But it'll just give a little touch of color, make it sort of just a little blend of color. I think that's all it needs. I'm happy with it. Just a cheap, some paint we had kicking around. You can see where something goes over there too. So, yeah, it turned out really good. Just a touch of custom. I mean, all it takes is a little bit like that. Looks good. So, I think that's going to be it for here. I got to go clean out that intake and get that blown all out and get the water all out of it. And then I'm probably going to give that a paint, just the top half of it, because you'll never see the under half in here. So I'll just do the top half. The bottom half, it gets really close. You can see how it touches here. So there's no point in really painting the bottom half of that intake. We'll just do the top. So I got to go clean that up. I might get this on tonight too. If I do that, then we'll just zoom through as I do that there. So we're really getting a lot of this stuff used up. These are supposed to go right in here. So these are your spark plug holes. No, they go over here. No, they go right here. I'm just trying to remember how this all goes together. I think these go here. And then they screw in there, and then I think the wire comes across the front and over to that side. If I recall. Oh yeah, because then the wiring harness goes along here, I think. Yeesh. And those plug all those holes, so. With no plugs in there, they kind of shake and rattle and roll, so. I might set those in there to prevent anything from falling in those holes. I got some more smaller stuff. Oh, I got to paint the oil fill tube too. But I got to wash that in the sink upstairs. Right. I'll just get that done quickly on my own. I really like the way this is turning out here. I'm glad we're starting to get this thing pieced together. I'm finding everything. I'm getting it cleaned up. It sort of felt daunting at the beginning of all this, whether I was going to get everything cleaned up, especially this nightmare here that is the timing cover. Unfortunately, when I was pressure washing it, it fell over, and I had all of these sitting where they were supposed to go. So now I got to figure that out. Like I said, this whole thing is a freaking puzzle. So I'm really looking forward to having this thing done and out of my basement, because this is taking up all this space. And then there's the sheepskin work here that we're doing. But I have to still pull all the keys out of the timing tensioners, and then I have to test crank that over, and I got to check all those fasteners are bolted up and torqued down. I got to torque everything on the inside there, and then once I get all that torqued down, I think we can start putting everything on. I just want to make sure. I don't remember if I torqued everything down on the inside, so I just want to make sure all these fasteners for all the timing set is all torqued down, and then everything for the cams are torqued down. I know the heads are torqued down. I would not have left the heads not done. I would have finished them, especially considering I'm putting the timing all together. The heads would have been torqued, but the cam bearings and stuff here, I gotta check those, and then I think I can probably put these valve covers on for good. We'll see where we're at next we meet again. So yeah, all right, I think that's it for now. I'm gonna go up and start finishing off some of the other stuff I got going outside and trying to drain that thing out, and I'll catch you guys on the next installment of getting the sheep Jeep back together.